Hello.
So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in the council for the Village of Lincoln Heights for 2024 and 2025. More up there on the podium. And if you open it up, you'll see that we have our agenda. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a call to order. And we're going to do a roll call for attendance. Mr. Daniels,
Present.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Present.
Ms. Baber,
Present.
Ms. Key,
Present.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey,
Present.
Ms. Mitchell.
Present.
We have 6 council members, so we have a quorum. We are now going to do a prayer. Would somebody like to lead the prayer?
Sure, I got it.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Daniels.
My brother Harris, please. Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you. Thank you for another year. Thank you for another prosperous year that we continue to once again do your work, Heavenly Father. Thank you for allowing us to come together at this table. Thank you for all of those that are in the audience as well to support us. And once again, thank you for these wonderful residents that we represent, Heavenly Father. Allow us to continue to just come with an open mind as we continue to do this work. In your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You would all rise. We'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on our agenda is the oath of office. So we had an election in November of 2023. We have 2 new council members, but they are, of course, returning council members. Ms. Phyllis Baber and Ms. Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey. So I'm going to administer what's known as the oath of office. Ms. Baber, if you don't mind joining me up at the mic, we'll administer it there. Please raise your right hand for me, please, and repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Ohio, and will obey the laws thereof, and that I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter, and ordinances of the municipality of Lincoln Heights, and will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations, Ms. Baker. Ms. Baker, did you want to take a picture with anybody? Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Congratulations.
please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Ohio, and will obey the laws thereof, and that I will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and ordinances of the municipality of Lincoln Heights, and will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations. Miss Dix is going to grab a picture of you. You're not done? All right, council members, the next item on the agenda, item number 7, is resolution number 24-R-1, resolution appointing Lisa Randolph as clerk of council for the village of Lincoln Heights. Do we have a motion?
Motion that we hear by title only.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Ms. Baber? Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Village of Lincoln Heights, Hamilton County, Ohio, resolution number 2024-R-1, resolution appointing Lisa Randolph as clerk of council for the village of Lincoln Heights.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Ms. Baber? Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Motion to suspend is passed.
Motion to receive the emergency. No. Motion for passage.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Ms. Baber? Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
And do we have a motion for the emergency clause?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Ms. Baber? Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
The emergency clause is adopted. I would now like you to welcome our clerk of council, Ms. Lisa Randolph.
Yay.
Ms. Randolph, if I could have you step to the mic. I can have you raise your right hand. If you would repeat after me. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
and will
and I will
obey the laws thereof,
obey the laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances
of
the municipality of Lincoln Heights,
of Lincoln Heights,
and will faithfully discharge
the duties
upon which
I am
about to enter.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Do we used to stand?
So the charter has us meet on January 1st every other year after an election to organize, as it's called in the charter. So this is our organizational meeting. The three main things we do at this meeting is we elect a clerk of council, we elect a mayor, and we elect a vice mayor. So you'll notice that item 8 on the agenda is remarks by candidates to be mayor. I know of 2 candidates that was announced at last meeting. That'd be Ms. Key and Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey. Are there any other council members that would like to be considered for the mayorship? Okay. So we've got the 2 candidates. As the outgoing, I guess, incumbent mayor, I'll start with Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey, if you have any remarks.
Yes, I do. I like to first hand out my a list of accomplishments that I have, and I'd like to share with council.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I would like to start by thanking council for appointing me for mayor for the last 6 years. I couldn't do it by myself, so I'm very honored that they had trusted in me 3 consecutive times to be the mayor for 6 years. So I'm very thankful for that. And I know that per our charter, we're only 1 vote. But as the charter says, when it comes to being the mayor has a responsibility. The mayor is known for ceremonial, and to me, ceremonial is one that signs off on legislation, one that runs council meetings, one that conducts weddings, one that writes proclamations, and one that also, when it comes to checks and balances, a mayor that has to sign checks for the village to make sure that the bills are paid, along with our finance director. So it is a role that does help assist the check and balances of the finances for the village of Lincoln Heights. But to me, being a ceremonial mayor was never enough for me. When I got on council in 2016, I immediately start working. As I start getting familiar with the role as just a council member, I reached out, went out and realized that there was properties in the village of Lincoln Heights that had not been developed by Habitat for Humanity. And so I went to Habitat for Humanity before I even became mayor, and realizing that they had been gone for 10 long years. And so I continued to bother them, I would say, periodically every 6 months, going to talk to them just to see if they would consider returning back to the village of Lincoln Heights to build on their properties, not all of Lincoln Heights, but just the properties that they owned on this vacant land that stood still for 10 long years. And so 2018, I became the mayor, which the council entrusted me to do that, and I continue to have those conversations with Habitat for Humanity for them to finally, after 3 long years, decide to build 7 houses on Jackson Street, and they did that. Along with that, they came and they had a rock the block, and that included 27 homeowners going to their houses and doing the aesthetics part, working, cleaning, shrubbing, painting, putting up fences, handicap ramps for those residents that wanted to spruce up their house and not feel slighted when new houses come in, but be a part of building houses, as being a part of that group. Even though we had the new houses, we wanted our residents to know that we all want to take pride in the village of Lincoln Heights and the housings that we live in. So that was one of the things that was dear to me doing the Rock the Block. During Rock the Block, it created 400 volunteers to come in Lincoln Heights, and we were so proud of that because, as always, we've been trying to change the narrative of the village of Lincoln Heights, and that has been important to me. Being a mayor, it's a hard job, but it takes strong leadership to deal with the agree to disagrees, but to always remember the mayor is just 1 vote, to include the council members. I can truly say that every committee meeting I have always attended because I wanted to be that support for each and every one of the council members here. Even if we agree to disagree, I have always, and 8 years, have went to their committee meetings to make sure that if no one else came, that I was going to come and support them when they had different events like Lincoln Heights Day, National Night Out with Safety, parading through the village, recognizing our seniors that graduated from high school. It was a joy to walk through recognizing that when I former council member in recreation. No matter how many council members were able to come or had other things they had to do, I always wanted to support each and every one of you in the things that you do. Also, the tough decisions was doing recycling, and our residents were used to, controlling their own trash collection. But once getting involved in the weeds of looking at things that we need to do to change, recycling was a part of that. And it was a hard pill to swallow, but encouraging our residents that we want to be uniformal, and even though it was a hiccup and they were upset about having to pay for trash with their water bill, we got through it. And then I talk about the Rock the Block and the Habitat for Humanity, but also the Safe Routes to School. In 2017, the council that we had, I don't even think I was the mayor when we started on Safe Routes to School. Might have been first year, but Safe Routes to School, we were able to get a $400,000 grant. I'm thinking that, new to being on council, that we got this Safe Routes to School grant, it's gonna immediately happen. But it didn't. It took about to 2021 for us to get a Safe Routes to School, to get lights around our elementary school. But it takes leadership, and strong leadership, never wavering when things are not what we like them to be. We have our challenges, we truly do. We've been through, we've been through change of village managers, change of interim managers. We've been through that, but we've all stuck together, and we did what we had to do. Just recently, we had to make some changes and adjustments quickly because I would truly say, no matter what we went through, we were still trying to keep the momentum of making the village run smoothly without anyone noticing when there were gaps of a village manager. Recently, when I saw that there was a need that we were going to have to move to another direction, I reached out to our interim, Mr. Lemon, and I want to thank you, Mr. Lemon, for making yourself available to us. But for me, I felt like it was a leadership that the council entrusted in me to when our backs are against the wall, that the mayor is going to try to work through it, And I take it seriously. I wear Lincoln Heights on my shoulders every single day, and I go outside of Lincoln Heights. I've always networked since I've been on council and before I became mayor. I go in rooms where people that don't look like me, and people that don't look like you, and people look like Mr. Lemon. And it's important to me that when I go to these different organizations or events, I'm looking for grant opportunity for the village. I'm looking for partners. When I said before about Habitat for Humanity being gone for 10 years, it took a rebuild of a partnership. We had our struggles fighting back, with council agreeing and disagree. What was, some thinking that we're going to make all of Lincoln Heights Habitat for Humanity. But for me, I just wanted them to build on the property that they had. And we needed that to have a momentum for the village, for people to take us serious. And as we revitalize the village of Lincoln Heights, that was important for me. And then so we continue to work on council. Not just me. I'm not an I person. I never have been an I person. I know that I learned something from each and every one of these council members around this table, and past mayors, and past council members. I'm a selfless person, and I appreciate everything that each and one of the council members bring to the table. I'm up here against educators that deal with children and adults, and I appreciate the knowledge that they have brought the Village of Lincoln Heights and myself. I want to talk about the grants that we've received, and we continue to get the grants. But in the years, you know, I think about the past, the present, and the future. We have some tough challenges coming. We really, truly do. But I know with all of us around this table, we can get it done. We can make it happen. One of the things I'm happy and proud about is I passed out my list of accomplishments. I want to just, even though I listed it, my list of accomplishments, it's not my list of accomplishments. It's all of our list of accomplishments. All of us have worked to make this happen because I'm only one vote, like I said. We have had the, you know, with the partnership and rebuilding partnerships with Hamilton County, Planning and Development, the Port Authority, Habitat for Humanity, We Thrive, all those different partners. And some of them I haven't even mentioned because I could go on and on and on and on about what I've been doing, but I'm not going to do that today. But I just want you to know it takes the rebuilding of partnerships to make the engine work and to make us all work together to move the village through our committees that we have. We were so successful in getting the community impact grant of getting almost $1 million, $1 million, and that took partnership, a positive partnership, for the commissioners to think about us, because we was among other communities, not just Lincoln Heights, because they have to split the monies that come from the federal government. They have to look and see which are the needs of the community, how we can rebuild the village of Lincoln Heights. This community, I'm born and raised, and all of us have been born and raised in Lincoln Heights, but this community has been through so much, but we are on a momentum to what we can do for the next generation, because we have term limits around this table, and it's up to us to reach out to the young folk, because we're here today because it's only 6 of us around this table, because people, they just not interested in politics. But it's up to us as council members to get the word out, to encourage our residents to be on the boards and commissions. And it has been hard. I'm going to say it's been hard to get our residents involved. But we're not going to give up. We're going to continue. We usually start in January, the beginning of the year, trying to get people to be on the boards and commissions. But for me, it always has been just to be on a yes, we're out of compliance because we don't have these boards and commissions filled, but it's hard to get people involved. And for us, it's more important not to have a name, just to say you got your boards and commissions filled, but are they going to participate? And it's up to us to educate our residents and to empower them, to make them want to be a part of the process. As I close, I do want to mention, I can't leave here, finish talking without talking about the gun range. And I will say, when it comes to the gun range, that conversation happened way before I was around this table. We have to give, you know, credit where it's due. All those mayors out there in that lobby have always, each and every one of them have had a challenge. Challenges before I was even born. But I do know when it came to the Cincinnati Police Department gun range, conversations was going on before us. But what it was the opportunity and the right time. So in July 2019, I sent a letter out downtown Cincinnati asking them, you know, council through safety, law, we all were having conversations about the shooting range and us staying up all night. And we're getting calls from the residents of the disrespect that our residents have endured actually for quite some time, for years, 75 plus years. But I'm here to tell you, working with this Cincinnati, the gun range, being a part of that, it took people like Councilman Daniels working through his heist movements. I got to give you your credit where it's due, Mr. Daniels. I really do. Because even though the mayors, each time there's a mayor that has, fought that fight to get it go, it was the opportunity, the right time to have the right council downtown Cincinnati. Then we have the Mr. Daniels, then with working with the closing the health gap, the hospitals, the doctors with the hearing test and everything. It took all those different people, Hamilton County commissioners, for them putting that money in to get that gun range. And you know what? They have raised enough money. They moved that complex to Coleraine Township, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We just don't have the date, but when it does happen, we are going to have a party. We're gonna have a party, and that's why I wanna ask for y'all support, because I wanna be part of that project, that party, to make sure that Lincoln Heights gets what's due to them. Because I always will say nothing but the best for our residents, nothing but the best. And then we had the school. That was tough. The high school, Smith Flowers YMCA. That was very hard to see that school go, but we knew we had to do it. And I thank you all for making the right decisions. That we needed to, sometimes we have to make decisions that are hard. And sometimes we have to make decisions that keep us up at night. And sometimes we get the calls from the police saying that we done lost somebody to shooting. I get them calls. And so when I got them calls early in the morning, I reached out, let council know, because we are the village of Lincoln Heights. And we get them calls, and we get all kinds of calls about code enforcement, calls about dogs, just all kinds of calls. But it always has been important for me that we get a village manager, we get code, and we need that code enforcement. And I just think that we have been through a lot. But we are not going to give up. And we can do with all of us around this table. There's nothing that we cannot do. So at the close, I just want to thank you all for allowing me. I could talk on and on about the opportunities about me being on First Suburbs. I will say about with the opportunity of being in leadership, as mayor, it has afforded me to be appointed by the Commissioner Dumas to be on the Ohio 1 Opiate Governance Board, and that has to do with opiate and the settlement regarding addiction and recovery, and it has afforded me to do that because it has plagued our community when crack came out. It has plagued our community. It also has afforded me to be on First Suburbs Southwest Consortium, and that's among mayors, and so it's like a part of different mayors from different municipalities throughout Hamilton County, and we reach out and get different resources to bring out and share and give out to all our different communities so that we are not left out. So with the leadership that you have given me, it has allowed me to be everywhere. I go everywhere. You never know. You might see me downtown with Big Bootsy Collins, which I just did. But I was representing Lincoln Heights. And I always will. I always will. So I'm going to close, and I'm just going to say to you all, nothing but the best for Lincoln Heights. And I truly believe that I am the best at this time to do what needs to be done. But never forget that I respect each and every one of you. I love working with you all, and I'm going to continue to do what I need to do as the leader to push the needle to what is needed and what to make this community better. Because we're not here for yesterday's children. We're here for tomorrow's children. And it's on us for us to start getting involved and getting people to run. But when they run, teach them about what it is to be a civic. person to be elected official. So I would just say I strongly would like for you to support me. And we have so much to do, so much more to look forward to in 2024. God bless you.
Thank you, Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey. Now, Ms. Tani Key.
Thank you, Mr. Desai. Ms. Mumphrey, a great list of accomplishments. Over 8 years as mayor. Ms. Mitchell, several years as mayor. A former mayor in the House as well, Ms. Gray, several years as mayor. Looking at the leadership of African-American women in our community, I can only stand on your shoulders. I appreciate you for your work, for your efforts, for leading the way for the next and new generation. I appreciate the hard work, the hard decisions that you've had to make, the decisions you made to even sometimes have to leave family to put the village first. I appreciate that. I was once in that position as well, and now I'm asking for the council here to vote for me as mayor, and I'll explain why. Only being in this seat, this current seat, for the last 2 years, I've seen lots of things occur, lots of great opportunities happen, lots of rebrandishing of our landscape for our community in which we all love, community in which we have generations of family that are here. I myself go back 6 generations here in the village of Lincoln Heights. So excited to be in this position right now, and so excited to be talking to the council about what we need to do to push Lincoln Heights forward. And the mayor was right. All of the accomplishments, as long as she's or someone is in that seat, they get to acknowledge those accomplishments. She's also right that it takes the entire council in order to make those things happen. So the great accomplishments that has occurred, I give kudos to all the members of council who are here. Ms. Childs-Jeters, I know you led the way a lot with the Wi-Fi effort as far as getting funds from Hamilton County, CDBG, or the Community Impact Grant, which the Councilwoman Mumphrey had mentioned as well, the gun range. But what I like to talk about is sustainability. What I like to talk about is those hard conversations that we must have around this council. What I like to talk about is what we are faced with today and what we need to do to be a village tomorrow. Grants are great. I love grants. I appreciate grants. But the sustainability of the government is important. Are we sustainable? We have seen numbers recently that makes us open our eyes to what needs to occur in our community to move forward. So it's not going to be easy, and we are going to need each other to be able to do that. What I like to talk about is some of the accomplishments that I've been able to accomplish in the last 2 years as the Economic Development Chair. We push for community Wi-Fi. We still continue to look for ways to allow our residents to be connected, not only to the community, but outside the community as well. So whether it's to business, whether it's to medical, whether it's to education, we want to make sure that our residents are not left behind in this new age of technology. The new age of technology is the future for communities. We know it, we see it everywhere. We talk about it all the time. That is where I have a strong grounding efforts that I can push that forward for our community. Having experience in technology, being able to work directly with our youth in the schools, being able to work with business partners and making sure that we have access here in the community. I also want to talk about the fact that we want to make sure that government is transparent. A way to make government transparent is through technology. Being able to have our information. We have some technology pieces now. I love it. People can see our meetings. People can watch this meeting. But if they go to research and pull information about what took place in a meeting, they may not have that access. So the burden then lies on our clerk to have to go research and pull information. Why not make that available to the community? I can help with that. I can help train that. I believe that's a way to get young people from the village involved in our civic agenda here at the village, is by giving them opportunities to use their skill set to support the village. I would like to do that. I believe I have what it takes to be able to do that. When it comes down to the ceremonial duties of the mayor, I believe Councilwoman Mumphrey mentioned a few things that was absolutely right on, except for one. Signing the checks is an administrative duty. That's an administrative duty. And I believe that the way the charter is set up, administrative duties, in my opinion, should only be done by vote of council. The finance director has a village manager. As long as we keep a sustained village manager in place, should the mayor be signing the checks? Well, maybe they have to. Maybe a situation arises where they have to. Well, that would present a conflict, right? If I'm elected as mayor. Because at this moment, my husband sits as the finance director. Well, I propose that as the mayor, I would ask Mr. Decide to sign legislation or to write legislation that would prohibit me from signing any document, any fiduciary document that comes from the Village of Lincoln Heights that has his signature on it, and allow, if necessary, a vice mayor to sign off on it or another council member to sign off on it, should that be the case. I don't feel that as a mayor, I have to sign off on the checks, because if we have a strong administrator in that position, the oversight is council. It's all of council. It's the finance chair. It's all of council. It is not specifically the mayor. It's not specifically that one position. So I would propose that. I'm glad that came up. It actually came up in a conversation that I had yesterday. So the other things that I wanted to talk about with my accomplishment is the land use study. When we talk about sustainability for the Village of Lincoln Heights, we have to take a look at what we have, what we need, and how we're going to go forward. In 2 years, I was able to lead that effort with the help of committee and the help of council to be able, and work with Hamilton County Planning, to be able to put together a land use plan, a land use map that gives us an opportunity to impact development, impact business, impact homes in the community of Lincoln Heights. Those are sustainable efforts. Not saying that anything that was done previously was not sustainable or started the sustainability. All I'm saying is I want the opportunity to move that forward, because we have so many things yet to do. Transparent government is important to me, and I'll leave with that. Transparent government is important to me. I would contend as mayor, you would know what I know. When I receive information, you will get that information. When I receive letters or requests, you would know that as well. Anything that happens in the mayor's office, vice mayor's position, the clerk's position, should be available for all to see. Should be available for all to see. That's where I am. I would like the opportunity to lead us into the next generation. Not for our current generation, but our next 2 generations that are to come. We have a great opportunity that's here. Our charter allows for a refresh every 2 years. I believe it's time for a refresh. With your help, we can do great things. With your help, we can create opportunities for young people to come. They will come with the right leadership. They will. They've said it many times. I've heard them. They talk to us. We hear it. So allow the next generation to lead. I'll leave with that. Allow the next generation to lead. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the residents of the Village of Lincoln Heights. God bless this council. I'm looking forward to the next 2 years.
Thank you, Ms. Key. I believe there are no other candidates for,
Mr. Desai, if you don't mind, I'm sorry about that, Council, and I appreciate everybody's words, especially Mayor Mumphrey and Councilwoman Key. If you all don't mind, I'm not going to take up much of your time at all. It's just the last statement that Ms. Key had made, and she talked about let the young people lead. And these last 6 years I've been on council, when we've talked about a couple things, especially from these accomplishment standpoints, when I ran for council, it was truly to try to empower the residents to feel like that this government is theirs, to truly empower our young people to try to come together and figure stuff out. So what the quote unquote Heights movement, which is really just the residents of Lincoln Heights, what we've done was we hired young people to build a mural. We hired young people to build a farm, actually start off with a garden that became a farm. We hired young people to start an innovation center, and that was not something that was truly supported by this council. So when I hear these things, it's a little bit concerning and pushed back towards me. So if you don't mind, I would like to throw my name in the hat for mayor. And just as we talk about this accomplishments, just on those simple things alone, if you speak on the gun range was done by, yes, the residents. The residents went out there and videotaped those calls. The residents went out there and spoke at the town hall. The residents are the one that organized. The residents are the one that had the gun range protests that I actually had council members telling people this don't even come to. We invited council members to the organizational meeting first, our mayor to the organizational meeting first, and it hang us out to dry. It's like you had nothing to do with it. When you talk about dollars that's coming into here for the roads, we have insulted people that brought these dollars here. So I would like to throw my name in the seat if we're talking about these are things that we really like to get done. It's truly painful at times to see the potential that Lincoln Heights has, but we spend so much time around here talking about the dumbest crap. So I would like to talk about a proposed motion to move forward in the ways that we've done over these last 6 years without the support of council, because hopefully with the support of council, we can get something done that's beyond what we ever dreamed of with y'all support. Mm-hmm. So I would like to put my name in the hat for mayor as well too, with you all support. I don't have a speech. That's just what I wanted to say.
thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Yep.
Is there anyone else who would like to be a candidate for mayor? All right, so we have the three candidates that have spoken. We are now going to move to Resolution 24-R-2, resolution electing the mayor of the Village of Lincoln Heights. Is there a motion?
Motion for Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey to be elected for the mayor.
Motion, so it's got blanks on it. Are you saying motion to amend it to include Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we've got a motion on the table to amend 2024-R-2 to have Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey be the mayor, so that would be in Section 1 and in Section 2. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Ms. Randolph, you want me to do the roll call?
Ms. Baber,
No.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
No.
Ms. Key,
No.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes.
We have two.
Ms.
I'm
Kinsey
sorry, I
Mumphrey.
apologize. I'm sorry. Ms. Mumphrey,
Yes.
we have 3 aye votes, 3 nay votes. There is a tie.
All right, so that motion to amend does not pass.
I make a motion to elect Councilman Durance Daniels as mayor of the Village of Lincoln Heights.
And just for procedural purposes, you're making a motion to amend R2.
Yes.
To have Section 1 and Section 2 contain
Yes.
the name of Mr. Daniels.
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion to amend to have 24-R-2, the blank lines for Section 1 and Section 2 be amended to have Mr. Durance Daniels' name. Is
Second.
there a second?
I second it.
We have a second from Mr. Daniels.
Miss Baber,
Yes.
Miss Childs Jeter,
No.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Miss Key,
Yes.
Miss Mitchell,
No.
Miss Ruby Kinsey Mumfree.
No.
We have 3 aye votes and 3 nay. The motion does not pass.
Right, so that motion to amend fails. Do we have another motion?
Motion, Tanya Key.
And again, just for procedural clarity, so you're making a motion to amend 24-R-2 to have Section 1 and Section 2, the blanks therein, to read Ms. Tanya Key.
Yes.
All right, we have a motion to amend. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second.
Miss Baber,
Yes.
Miss Childs Jeter,
No.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Miss Key,
Yes.
Miss Mitchell,
No.
Miss Kinsey Mumfree.
No.
We have 3 aye votes and 3 nay. The motion does not pass.
Correct. So that motion to amend fails. Do we have another motion?
Motion, Linda Childs Jeter.
Second.
Not for mayor. I appreciate that. Right now, we have 6 of us sitting around the table, and we can't decide, My first vote was for Ruby, and of course, when we come back around, are we going to change any of this? So we can't decide on the mayor, and I thank you, Durance, and there's definitely a future here for you, sweetie. But not for mayor.
That's why I put your name there. I said Linda Childs Jeter.
You may say Linda Childs Jeter,
That's
but you're gonna have those same 3 votes.
we don't know. I got a motion for Linda Childs Jeter.
Second.
It's been
All
a
right,
second
so
on
we
the
have a-
floor.
So, and just again for procedural clarity, that you've got a, order please. We've got a motion to amend 24-R2 in Section 1 and 2 to have Ms. Childs Jeter's name in there, correct?
Yes.
And we had a second from Ms. Key, correct?
Yes.
All right.
And I said no.
I understand that, but procedurally, we need to vote on it, and let's see where that goes, and then we'll discuss what we have to do.
Okay.
Miss Baber,
No.
Miss Childs Jeter,
It's me, so I guess I would have to say a yes, but it's not what I want. No.
Miss
Is your vote yes or no?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Miss Key,
Yes.
Miss Mitchell.
No.
I couldn't hear.
No.
She's okay. Miss Kinsey Mumfree.
No.
We have 2 aye votes, 4 nay. The motion does not pass.
The motion does not pass. Do we have another motion?
But you don't have to do that because it landed right. Now we're here.
We can have I know council hasn't been through this before, but we can resubmit names, so that's why I'm asking for another motion.
Motion to elect Durance Daniels as the mayor for the Village of Lincoln Heights.
And again, procedurally, motion to amend 24-R-2 to have section 1 and section 2 read Mr. Daniels' name, correct?
Yes.
We have a motion to amend. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a second from Ms. Baber.
Ms. Baber,
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
No.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
No.
Ms. Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey.
No.
We have 3 aye votes. We have 3 nay votes. The motion does not pass.
Do we have another motion?
I motion that we amend 2024 R2 to elect Ruby Kinsey Mumphrey.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
One moment, okay. Ms. Baber,
No.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
No.
Ms. Key,
No.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey.
Yes.
We have 3 aye votes. We have 3 nay votes. The motion does not pass.
I motion to amend 2024 R2 to elect Tanya Key for mayor of the Village of Lincoln Heights.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Ms. Baber,
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
No.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
No.
Ms. Mitchell.
She
I
said
know
no.
I heard a yes and a no over here, so I just
Oh,
want
I'm
for the
sorry.
record. Ms. Mitchell,
No.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey.
No.
We have 3 aye votes, 3 nay votes. The motion does not pass.
Mr. Desai,
Do we have an? Yes, Ms. Mitchell.
point of clarification. So, from where I sit, it seems that we're going to be doing this round robin. What is our recourse? Can we recess, or do we call an executive session? What do we do so that we can work this out without doing the round robin? Do we have a recourse?
Well, the charter says that on January 1st at the organizational meeting, council shall do X, Y, and Z, and one of those is to elect a mayor. Now, we are at a meeting, so we could always recess, but we're recessing the organizational meeting. The organizational meeting must end with us doing all the things the charter says.
Thank you.
I mean, if council wants to move on to another order of business, we can amend the agenda.
Can we amend the agenda to go to 2024 R3, or do we have to do the mayor first? Do they have to be done in this order?
The charter doesn't say the order that it has to be done in. So if council wants to move on, we can amend the agenda to move item 9, which is what we've been debating, to move it beyond 10 and 11, which are R3 and R4.
Okay.
Mr. Desai?
Although, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I would recommend doing it after R3, because the way R4 is drafted, R4 says the mayor recommends, the mayor recommends. So I think technically we should have a mayor in place.
Mr. Desai?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there room in the legislation for the vice mayor to serve as interim for the mayor if there's an absence of a mayor?
I did not put that into the resolution.
No, I'm talking about in the charter.
The charter generally says that if the mayor is unable to serve, the vice mayor serves. But again, I would get back to the charter says that we're supposed to have an organizational meeting, and at the organizational meeting, we are to elect a clerk, a mayor, and a vice mayor.
So do we have to amend the motion?
We're going to need to take a little break because the clerk needs to make some more vote count sheet copies. We did go through 7 rounds on that. So we're gonna break for 5 minutes. It's 2:10. We'll break till 2:15. Thank you, everyone. some things to consider. This is all a bit unorthodox. So trying to piece something together here that allows us to move on. There is a provision, give me just 1 second. In the charter, in section 2.07, it says the vice mayor shall exercise all the powers and perform all the duties of the mayor in case of temporary absence or disability of the mayor, and shall succeed to his or her office in case of its vacancy. So we could amend the agenda to move item 9 after item 10, which would then allow us to take up R3, which is the election of the vice mayor. We would have the vice mayor, presuming we can get a majority there, we would have the vice mayor in place. And the vice mayor, technically under 2.07, shall succeed to the office of the mayor in case of its vacancy. So we would have the vice mayor serving in the mayor's role until we could get a mayor elected. We could take a recess in the meantime, meaning we're recessing this meeting. We're not adjourning it, we're recessing it to a date specific. We can get the word out to the residents that we have a vacancy on council, allow residents who are interested to contact the clerk of council, let them know of their interest, and then we could have a meeting for council to appoint a 7th council member. I'm trying to keep all this straight in my head, so. And then we would come back to the organizational meeting, and presumably with the 7th member, we would be able to break the tie.
Well, with that being said, I'd like to motion that we amend the agenda to put number 9 after number 10. Switch those places.
Second.
We have a motion to amend the agenda to move item 9, which is R2, to after item 10, which is R3. We have a second. Roll call.
Ms. Baber? Yes. Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. That motion does pass.
I'd also like to make a motion, if I may,
Yes, ma'am.
that Linda Childs Jeter, that we amend 2024, what is that? Is that 3? To elect Linda Childs Jeter as vice mayor.
Okay, and just for procedural clarification, so there's a motion to amend R3, 24-R-3, to have section 1 and section 2 filled in with Miss Linda Childs Jeter's name as the vice mayor.
That's correct.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved
Oh, sorry.
and seconded.
Ms. Baber? No. Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
We have 5 aye votes, 1 nay. That motion does pass.
Miss Linda Childs Jeter, you are the vice mayor of the Village of Lincoln Heights for 2024 and 2025.
I want to personally thank all that are seated at this table for your support, and I know that those 2 years are going to be great as we come together and make decisions about the Village of Lincoln Heights. It's all about we the people, which means every single person that is here and in the community. We've done some things, and I agree, we do need some more young folks. But in order to get the younger folks on, we have to meet them and then kind of, you know,
Mold.
give them what they need, mold them, and then move forward. But we must not fight against each other. I don't like the fighting. I simply don't like to do it. I think that we have ways of making things happen. We all have different opinions, but you know, those opinions can work. And I am a policy and procedure person, and it's been that way since I got on council. I've always talked about you should follow the rules. And I have some former council members that are my babies in out here. It's Kathy Goodwin Williams, and also Vice Mayor, that knows that I am a stickler for following procedures so that we won't get in trouble. We get in trouble when we don't follow those procedures and let council members do their thing. And then council members get upset with you when you talk about what you're supposed to do, and then we get dinged by the state, and we still don't understand why we got that ding. So after being on council for X amount of years, you should catch on, and we should start to just love each other. I love every single person here. God said love. And right there is all right. To Deepak, thank you for all these years for doing what you do and supporting this council. You know, so that's all I have to say about that. I got little tears in my eyes. 2 years left. After this, you don't have to worry about it. I am termed out, which is fine with me because I'm getting older. So within the next 2 years, let's work together, the young and the old and the in-between, and make this thing happen. We do need young folks, the future. I'm in the past. I've done a lot of stuff. I mean, the resume goes out the door. I would not even show it to you. I've done my part. I want to support. In the vice mayor's position, I'm going to support when the mayor finally gets on board. Support that person. Again, for the 2024, the theme is love. Thank you.
So the next item that's now on the amended agenda, the next item on the agenda is, again, what was item 9, which is 24-R-2. If we can, am I hearing a consensus that council would like to recess this meeting, allow some time for residents to be informed about the open seat, have a seventh person selected by a majority of the remaining council members, and then come back to the mayor vote?
Yes, that's my consensus.
Is that what I'm hearing? Is there anyone that disagrees with that?
I agree.
Okay. So let's do this, and I'm doing this on the fly, but I think what would be in order then is we can have a motion to defer 24-R-2. That might be the best way to handle that so that we don't have to keep moving it around on the agenda.
I move that we,
And I'm sorry, just one moment, please. I apologize. All right. And did we did go through all the voting on R3. Where did we leave off at?
We did R3. Well, we had 5 aye votes and 1 nay as far as the vice mayor.
Okay, was that on the motion to amend?
Yes.
Okay, so we technically still need to do R3, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that, and then
Not yet. You gotta vote.
We'll put on the official resolution.
Not yet. You gotta vote. You gotta get to the emergency piece.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do our R3, and then I'll tell you what I recommend we do with R2. So we had the motion to amend. That
Correct.
passed 6-1.
Correct.
All right.
That was
5 to
5.
1.
5
I'm sorry,
to 1.
5-1. My apologies. 5-1. All right. So the next motion would be motion by title.
Motion to hear by title only.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Ms. Baber,
For the motion to hear by title only, yes.
Right.
yes.
And,
Okay.
and this again is on R3, the election of the vice mayor, which has been amended to have Miss Linda Childs Jeter.
Ms. Baber?
I said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Mumphrey.
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. That motion does pass.
You want me to read it?
Sorry.
Got it. Okay.
Village of Lincoln Heights, Hamilton County, Ohio, resolution number 2024-R-3. Resolution electing vice mayor of the Village of Lincoln Heights.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Ms. Baber,
For the motion to suspend the rules,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey.
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. That motion does pass.
Motion to receive for passage.
Second.
Ms. Baber,
No.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey.
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes, 1
Five.
nay.
5 votes.
I'm sorry. That's my mistake. 5 aye votes, 1 nay. That motion does pass.
All right, so that takes care of R3. Okay,
You have to swear in.
I was,
That makes me official now. Well, in a minute.
well, let's go ahead and swear you in, and then we'll move to the next thing. Raise your right hand, please. I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will,
and that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the municipality of Lincoln Heights,
of the municipality of Lincoln Heights,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
upon which
upon which
I am about to enter.
I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You gonna come work with me? Boards and commissions.
I can do, yeah, I will do that.
Okay, so since we already had debate on R2, I think the appropriate thing would be to either lay the question on the table, and these are all the motions that we discussed once we've had debate. So just to refresh everybody, The one to lay the question on the table is approval of a motion to lay the question on the table. Temporarily lays the question aside so that it may be taken up when it is in order or when no other question is before council. The problem here is that no amendments or debate of the subject may be considered. So we're going to need to amend R2 to put a name in. So the other thing we can do is we can motion to postpone to a time certain. We can also motion to postpone indefinitely. On the time certain, approval of a motion to postpone to a time certain defers consideration of a question to another day, or to a certain hour when, after pending business is disposed of, it will have the right of consideration over all questions except a specific order or reconsideration. It may be amended as to time by a vote of majority of the village council. Approval of a motion to make an item a special order defers consideration to a certain hour and will allow the matter to interrupt pending business. It may be adopted or amended as to time by a majority of the village council. So that's the motion to postpone. Then we have the final one, which is the motion, that's a motion to postpone to a time certain. Then we have a motion to postpone indefinitely. Approval of a motion to postpone indefinitely rejects the question without a direct vote. If it is carried, the principal question shall be declared lost. An affirmative vote may be reconsidered. A negative vote may not. If the motion to postpone indefinitely carries and is not reconsidered, the question cannot be brought up again during that village council meeting. So we could do one or the other. I think it probably makes more sense to do the motion to postpone indefinitely, because I'm not sure what kind of a timeline we have. Thoughts?
Oh, well, I oppose the postpone it forever. But what is maybe a good time to bring this back once the vacant seat is filled, or what?
I think council's going to need to discuss that amongst themselves. And we do have a meeting a week from today, which would be our first meeting, regular meeting of the year. But council needs to determine when are they going to appoint the vacant seat. And they have 60 days from today. Hopefully it wouldn't be that long, but there is 60-day time period from today. But council can make a determination about, okay, we want to give residents until the second regular meeting of January, and I'm just throwing these out as examples, not recommendations. But we want to wait until the second meeting of January to allow residents that are interested in the position to put their name in. And at that meeting, we're going to appoint somebody to the vacant seat. And at that same meeting, after it's adjourned, we could go back into our organizational meeting. We could come out of recess, go back into our organizational meeting, and then finish it up. So that's one scenario that's out there.
But if you lay it on the table, you can pick it back up when needed.
Well, the concern I have about the motion to lay the question on the table is it says no amendments or debate of the subject may be considered.
You gotta change the name. You gotta amend it.
And
But
we
the
have to
postpone-
amend.
But the
And
postpone
I-
for time certain, we can postpone it until the first meeting. And then that way, well, I'm just talking it through.
Yep.
Then that way, we have a time period that we have to move pieces along versus kind of letting it just linger out there.
I agree. Here would be my only concern, and this is reading everything, and because Robert's rules are very technical. For the motion to postpone to a time certain, it says it may be amended as to time by a vote of a majority of council. It's silent on whether the underlying resolution can be amended. And so that just you know, that now, you know, in a lawyer's world opens the matter up for debate. The nice thing about the postpone indefinitely is it's very short and succinct. It says approval of a motion to postpone indefinitely rejects the question without a direct vote. If it is carried, the question shall be declared lost. An affirmative vote may be reconsidered, a negative vote may not. If the motion to postpone indefinitely carries and is not reconsidered, the question cannot be brought up again during that village council meeting, which was this one, this organizational meeting at this time.
So at the next
So we
meeting,
can bring it up at the next.
we can bring that resolution back up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really okay with either of them. You have to understand the way a lawyer thinks. So I can make an argument, well, if you are just recessing the meeting, you're still bringing it back up at that meeting when you call it out of recess. So there's a little bit of uncertainty with both of them. But I guess just to kind of eliminate the issue about, you know, are we bringing it up at the same meeting? What might be best is to go ahead and do a time certain. It does not say that we can't amend it, like the motion to lay the question on the table.
What about defer?
The deferral is if we've only not had debate, right?
Yeah.
So we've already had debate on it. So that's the problem there.
Okay.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we do a motion to postpone to a time certain, which would be January 22nd, 2024. That would be the second meeting.
22nd?
Is that right?
22nd.
I think that's right. Because
You
the
said we
8th
got
would,
one in the meet, oh, we're not gonna do the one that's coming up?
well, again, if you can do it the 8th, you can do it the 22nd, whatever council wants to do. But if council wants to allow time for the residents to know about the vacancy, you know, the residents can then alert the clerk, then council's got a time to debate it. What might make sense is to move it to the 22nd, which would be the second meeting in January. And what would happen is we would effectively, after the adjournment of the regular meeting, we would come out of recess of the organizational meeting. So we're not moving it to the regular meeting, we're just moving it to January 22nd. And I think, you know, for a time, just say 8:30 p.m. Does anybody,
Yeah.
does anybody have a not in favor of doing that? Okay. So here's what we're going to do, just to recap. We're gonna take up item 9, which has now been moved to after item 10, and that's R2. Somebody's gonna make a motion to postpone it to a time certain, which will be January 22nd, 2024 at 8:30 p.m. We'll need a second on that, and then we'll need a majority to pass it. And then we'll be able to move R2 to that time.
You need a second on it?
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Do we have a motion to postpone Resolution 2024-R-2 to January 22nd, 2024 at 8:30 p.m.?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Ms. Baber? Ms. Baber?
Oh, yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter?
Yes.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Key?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. That motion does pass.
All right, so now we come to Resolution 2024-R-4. The way this is set up is it's set up as if you look at, for example, Section 1, the mayor has selected Deborah K. Browns to serve as magistrate of the mayor's court. We will have a mayor's court session before January 22nd, correct? Yes. Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't we have a motion to amend R4 to remove references,
Of the mayor.
What if we say mayor or vice mayor?
Or
I
can we just
honestly
say
don't
council?
know offhand whether 1905.05 provides for the vice mayor or not. I just don't know. I'd have to research that. Give me 1 second. Is mayor's court, that'll be after our January 8th meeting, correct?
I believe so.
They have it
It's the-
placed
You have to be after the
the
22nd.
third.
Where's the, that's
So we've got a mayor's court meeting come up on,
on the 17th.
On the
Is that
3rd?
the second one?
okay, so it'd come up on the 10th.
In the third.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we, we haven't debated this yet. Why don't we defer R4, why don't we defer R4 to the January 8th meeting? That'll give me a minute to research 1905, okay?
Motion to defer resolution 2024 R-4 to the
Second.
next council meeting.
Second.
Ms. Baber,
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumfree.
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. The motion does pass to defer to January 8, 2024, resolution number 2024-R-4.
Okay, and then that brings us to item number 12, which are remarks by council. We will start with Mr. Daniels.
Once again, it's always a pleasure to represent the residents of Lincoln Heights. You know, regardless of what takes place, it's always an honor and a privilege to work with all you all. And yeah, look forward to these next 2 years that this council stands.
I too look forward to working with the people seated around us, and that includes our interim manager, who I asked to come out today. And I want to say thank you for showing up. He is so humble and is ready to work with you. So if you need to know something, he will tell you. I don't know it, but I will get it for you. So I just love the way that he gets business done. I want to thank my children that are here. My daughter, Joanne from Florida, and her son, M. M is a king. He's named after a king. And so he carries himself like a king until he gets in my house. So thank you, babies, for coming down here today, because they could be doing something else. And I asked them to come down, and I wanted him to see how this worked, because he is the future. He's 17 years old. So I want to get him involved in some good politics. Good politics, you know. Good trouble. Get into some good trouble, you know. So thank you again. And for all that are here, and I think I've talked enough for today.
Thank you, Ms. Childs Jeter. Ms. Baber?
I just like to thank everybody around the table and thank the residents for trusting me for another 4 years. I also like to say that we are to follow procedure, and we shouldn't just change things just because we feel that we should change it or we want it changed. We should let things play out the way they should be. And I just want to thank everybody and have a blessed and wonderful new year.
Thank you, Ms. Baber. Ms. Key?
Thank you, Mr. Desai. I am so excited to be able to represent the families of the Village of Lincoln Heights and to sit around this table. It is not easy work, as you can see. We don't always agree, but we do have to come to some resolutions so that we can move forward for the village. I am excited about our new vice mayor. I think you are a person who is very much on what is the proper procedure. So I do appreciate that. Looking forward to whoever sits at the vacant seat to work with them. So hopefully if the residents are watching, please, 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 please apply for that seat so that we can continue to do that business and move forward. Thank you again for everyone who's around the table. Look forward to working with you all. Looking forward to a great 2024.
Thank you, Ms. Key. Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Desai. I just want to thank the residents for voting for me. This is I guess my last term of 4 years, so I'll continue to work throughout the community and abroad, and to work with the great folks around this table. So thank you, and thank you for Mr. Interim Manager, Mr. Lemon, for stepping in at last notice. We appreciate you. And congratulations, Ms. Childs Jeter. I know you're going to be a great vice mayor. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey. Ms. Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Desai. Habari Gani, everybody. Happy Kwanzaa. Today is Imani, which means faith. And so we all know that we have to have it. Can't do anything without it. And all the years that we've been here, what, 76, 77 years? And I'm sure that we've always kept the faith. And we have to continue to do that. As everyone has said, it's not always been easy, but we do get the job done. Everybody makes mistakes. We are in the boat with every other municipality. And I want to thank Mr. Lemon for sharing that information with me. I kind of already knew that we're not the only ones that have these types of problems or opportunities. I've been talking to Mr. Lemon, and yes, he is humble, and he keeps my faith there. Just so if you haven't had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Lemon, you need to do so. I mean, not just council, but residents, because we need someone who genuinely cares, and he does, and he knows what he's doing. We know what we're doing sometimes, so that's to be expected in municipal government. We can't know it all. And so I am thankful that Linda Childs Jeter has accepted to be the vice mayor. She didn't say no, so that was a good thing. And so I too am proud to work with everybody in here. And, you know, we just have to keep the faith and know that we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Harambe. Pull together.
Mr. Desai, may I ask something for Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We were here last Wednesday because Monday was the holiday, so skip Tuesday, Wednesday we was here. And Ms. Randolph pronounced the
Thank you,
pronounced
Vice Mayor.
something, and she had practiced it, and then everyone said, well, something about, well, Ms. Mitchell's not here to hear that. So can you tell us, can you pronounce whatever that was on which she did a good job, by the way. But you are
item
the
2.
expert in it.
Number 2,
Yep.
day 2, Kuji Chagalia,
See, good job, Ms.
self-determination.
Lisa.
And that's what we are all
There you go.
about.
She made
Thank you,
it then.
Vice Mayor.
Kuji
made-
Chagalia, self-determination.
We wasn't sure, but she got it. we know it's right now because she's telling us that.
All right, thank you, everyone. I think we're now, we have a motion to recess the current meeting, the current organizational meeting, to January 22nd, 2024 at 8:30 p.m. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. And roll call.
Ms. Baber,
Yes.
Ms. Childs Jeter,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes.
Ms. Key,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Ms. Kinsey Mumphrey.
Yes.
We have 6 aye votes. That motion does pass.
Thank you, everybody, for indulging us. I do believe there are some refreshments in the back if you can stay and join us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.